It's your boy, your host, your moderator. Welcome to Reviews from a Car. It's your host and your moderator. As always, rate, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend, family, as well as a follower. Let's get this channel lit in the YouTube algorithm. I really do want to apologize for all the people that have subscribed to my channel. I haven't been giving you guys any content about movies or television shows I have watched. I have watched many movies. I have watched a lot of television shows, but nothing really had attracted my attention to talk to you guys about a certain movie or a certain television show. But I will be consistent with the content next week, starting next week. But without further ado, without any interruptions, everyone knows I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. I've been hooked on phonics with the Walking Dead fan. I've been a Walking Dead fan since the original OG Walking Dead. Now that multiplied these into different series and different television programs, you have you have these three shows that was came from the mother's womb of the OG Walking Dead. Now there is talk about them possibly rebooting the OG Walking Dead, but those are just things that they be talking on social media. You can't confirm nor deny these rumors. We just got to keep them as rumors. But nevertheless, if you're a Walking Dead fan and you have seen all of the episodes of the OG Walking Dead, you still have Walking Dead Dead City. You still have the other two Walking Deads as well. But this review is going to be about Walking Dead Dead City season 3, episode 1. I think it's titled Tilton. What you guys know, I butcher names on a consistent basis. We're going to be talking about this episode. So if you've been living under a rock, allow your boy to explain, particularly how, particularly when you're talking about The Walking Dead, and if you want to, if you haven't kept up with Walking Dead Dead City, it follows Negan and Maggie dynamic. In the first season, Maggie was trying to get at Negan and vice versa, and that kind of spiraled into season 2, and now here we are, season 3. The dynamic still remains. They're not as they don't have hate for one another, but it's not like they're the best of friends. Okay, sort of like a buddy cop type deal. So the last time we talked about The Walking Dead, last time Walking Dead Dead City, they had to join forces, Negan and Maggie, to take down this entity, this mad woman, sort of say. And you know how in all Walking Deads, the villain is dead, or the villain becomes an ally, whatever the case may be. It was a complete mystery. We thought the villain was dead, but in reality, she survived, and she pretty much is mind effing Maggie's son into believing that no, she's more of a mother than Maggie is to her own son. So you got that dynamic. So it kind of left on a cliffhanger, and everyone was talking about when it was in the off season. We can't wait until we return back to this world. Want to see if Maggie is ever going to reunite with her son, or they're going to get an understanding. What about Maggie and Negan? Are they going to join forces like they did in season 2? Or they're just going to be hated enemies or hated allies, whatever the case may be. And I watched it yesterday. I believe it premiered July the 26th. So I watched it a couple of days late. And with all Walking Dead, how The Walking Dead is set up, the one thing I like about The Walking Dead is the characters. You get to, see these characters unfold in front of your eyes. You know, you see their strengths, you see their weaknesses, you see why they behave the way they behave, the way they think, because of, you know, the story writing. I think the narrative and the story writing, you know, when they introduce a new character or introduce a new villain, uh, it's kind of robust. They don't just throw it on you like that. Like, here, look, here's the villain, learn to hate this villain. No, it takes time for you to understand why this particular villain feels or think the way that they do. So you got that aspect, and I like that about The Walking Dead, about the character, the characters, the character development, the story writing, the direction they're going. You know, even though there's a main story. Of course, there's a main story, but even the smaller stories that's weaving into the main story, you know, it connects to the main story. They make the main thing. Okay. And that's what I like about The Walking Dead. Now, I watched the first episode of season 3 of Dead City, and, you know, it seems like they're letting, um I forgot his Jeffrey. I think his name is Jeff, the guy who plays Negan. He's producing this episode, as well as Maggie. I forgot the actress that plays Maggie. She's doing some directing on the side. It seems like they're letting them. At first, they was doing a handful of episodes, or maybe 1 or 2 episodes. It seems like, from what I gathered from this season, they're allowing them to, you know, take more leadership and more control as far as the writing, how they're going to direct it, and things of that nature. And Negan did produce an episode from the OG Walking Dead, the origin of Negan. Well, Jeffrey, that's the actor who's Negan, did produce an episode in the OG Walking Dead, the origin of Negan, and I thought that was pretty good. Maggie has done a handful of episodes, and they're okay. But you can clearly tell that they're allowing them full control on how this season is going to be utilized. And let me tell you something. With the, you know, with all Walking Dead episodes, you're kind of hooked on the first episode, because the first episode, you know, hooks you in, and it also you know, tells you this is how the season is going to be moving forward. And they introduce different characters. They introduce just different narratives and different storylines, and then that's how you get hooked. Because, you know, because after that you go like, okay, I gotta see what episode 2 is going to offer, and then some. But also, the episodes still sort of connect with the previous seasons. So it's not like the previous seasons are an afterthought. They sort of connect together. However, when I watched episode 1 of season 3, I was not impressed with it. I thought the writing was very, very bad, and how they're narrating this was also very, very bad. Um, you get a small sense of how this season is kind of connected to season 2 and season 1, but it's like a brief, mellow, connection to it. It's almost to the effect that Walking Dead season is its own entity. Like, it's trying to pull away what they did in season 1 and in season 2. Because in season 1, it connected more so with the Walking Dead universe. Season 2, uh, sort of, you know, try to drift away from connecting to the Walking Dead universe and trying to be its own universe. But there's still connections between season 1 and season 2. And in season 3, it's like season 2 was an afterthought. Everything that uh everything that you done, everything that you said in season 2 is non-existent in season 3. Now, I will say this is the first episode. Who knows? Maybe episode 2 and moving forward, the other future episodes explain why they went this direction, and also it's still connected to the Walking Dead Dead City universe. Okay, it can all be doing that, but I was not impressed with episode 1. And matter of fact, um, I stopped. I had like 10 minutes left of episode 1, and I just turned it off. Let me go back a little bit. I watched 30 minutes of it. I paused it, and I did some other things because I just was not. I was not interested. I thought the way how they started it was bad, and the way how how the episode was constructed was even worse, and the characters were non-existent. Because I'm so used of them having a uh you know a bunch of characters brand new introduced into the season. And who's to say maybe the characters will come at later episodes. Maybe they're going to introduce them slowly instead of, just grouping them all in one episode. But I didn't get no connection with this episode. I thought this episode was bad. And here are my reasons why I felt like episode 1 was bad. One, it seemed like they was trying to reproduce what they did in season 2. Now, in season 2, there was a villain, a a mad scientist, so you sort of say, and he invented a new form of energy, and that was kind of sort of the guy that Maggie and Negan was going after. Then come to find out that uh he wasn't really the boss. The queen was the boss. And the way how they introduced her in season 2 was great. I have no issues with that. Okay, um, but they left it at a cliffhanger on season 2 with the mad scientist. You didn't know if he survived or didn't, just like the queen. And I thought they just reproduced the same thing with both villains. So now both of these villains are alive, but the mad scientist has been injured. Okay, look like he's been bitten or injured or whatever the case may be. Okay, um, I thought the way how they brought that to the scene was bad. That was awful direction. That was awful writing. That was awful directing, in my humble opinion. Okay, and they also and basically they have another character who is pretty much similar to the bald-headed mad scientist. So let's just say, for argument's sake, the bald-headed mad scientist died from his injuries. Well, they kind of sort of replaced him with this younger mad scientist type. He owns a bar, and he figured out a way to reuse to make energy, and no to make food. Like, he was a farmer, sort of say. Okay, so he figured out a way how to. Okay, so the maggots. He had a room that had a bunch of maggots. Then the maggots turned into frogs, and then the frogs are a great food source for the turkeys. And then he goes from room to room to room, and he's got all of this livestock in this building that has a bar at the bottom. And he's been there the whole entire time. Season 1, season 2, the multitude of episodes, and no one of the wiser knew that this guy existed. The way how they brought that character into the fold in episode 1, season 3, it was just unbelievable. Okay, it's The Walking Dead. Of course, it's unbelievable, but you want these stories to be somewhat grounded into some type of believability. Okay, and they just didn't do a good job uh introducing this character. Now, I think eventually this guy, he's cool with Negan now, but later on in the season, he's going to turn against Negan, and now they're not friends no more. They're more foes, and there's the struggle between Negan battling this guy, and who's to say this guy doesn't, he's got, he's producing all this livestock. He's not doing it for himself. Obviously, he's doing it for a group of other people, a henchmen or whatever, and we won't know anything about that until, later on. But yeah, uh I just thought that maybe, and when I saw when all this stuff was in front of me, I'm going like, wait a minute, they're gonna kill off the mad bald headed scientist. He's not gonna last long in a couple of episodes. He's gonna be gone, and they're gonna replace him with a younger him that that's smart enough to continue to make the energy that they need to keep the city powered. Okay, so you got that, you could plainly see this coming. Okay, and the one thing I like about the older Walking Dead, the OG, and these new shows, it keeps you thinking, keeps you wondering, well, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? When you can clearly tell this is the direction that they're going. They're sort of, with the other episode, they're cloak and dagger about it. With this, you can clearly tell where this is heading and where this is going. So I was not happy with the first episode. That's one reason. Another reason was I felt like um a lot of things that worked in season two, they're utilizing them in season three. Like the mad scientist, the way how he gets people to do his bidding by, killing somebody that they love, and now, they're scared that they're going to that if they don't prove how useful they are, they're going to die as well. They have done that before, and they still, apparently that particular group, their baby needs an incubator. Well, needs a incubator, but not only that, it needs to be powered. And the only person that has the power to make this incubator run is the guy, the mad, bald-headed, mad scientist. So he done convinced him, like, hey, I got some leftover gas. I even got plans on how to make the gas and to make the city, and to put power in the city. It's just, you gotta keep me alive so we can go to this place so we can get all that stuff. Now, he wouldn't tell them right then and there, because he knew if he told them right then and there, he would have been dead. But it makes you wonder, if he thinks that way, then he's probably thinking to himself, I'm dead anyway once I take them to there. Or this could be all a ruse. It might be a trap that he's walking them into. So, yeah, it's just reused ideals. It's reused thoughts. It's reused stuff that, you did in season two, and now you're going to bring this to season three. And I think a large part of it is, and they talked about this in season two, how the actor that plays Negan and the actress that plays Maggie, they're behind the camera a lot more. Of course, they're still going to act and things of that nature, but they're allowing them control to do, and they feel like going this way, it'll make Walking Dead City better. Now, when I got AMC Plus, and when I look at all the movies and shows, they got like a top 5 or top 10 on Amazon. If you get it from Amazon, of these are the shows and movies people are watching on AMC Plus. Walking Dead City is ranked number 4, and to me, it's pretty much a dry month. It wasn't no big time movies that you would think, okay, I understand why it's number 4, because this movie was great in the theaters, or AMC got like another show. I think they do have another show, the vampire interviews, but let's just say that was hit. No, that's on MGMG. MGM Plus. No, no, it's on AMC Plus. So yeah, that's really the only competition The Walking Dead Dead City has. And then you think, as big as that fan base is, that, if it's not number one, it should be easily number two. How it's number four is beyond me. But I don't hear a lot of people talking about Walking Dead Dead City like in the other two seasons. So it makes you wonder, are people even happy? Even though it's one episode. Yes, I get it. It's one episode, Chris. You shouldn't, be hating on it this much. And it's not like I'm hating on it. It's just, to me, it's not following the plans that made it a success in the first place. It's almost to the effect that they're going to disregard what made this show popular and what made this show successful, and they're going to go in a different direction. And here's my third thing: how long y'all going to continue the Maggie Negan dynamic? Okay, I mean, this is an overused ideal, an overused thought that you got from the OG Walking Dead. That's where they first met, and then now they have their own show. It's been like 2 seasons. Y'all still on this narrative that, look, they don't trust each other, they don't like each other, but they just work with each other because they know when they worked with each other, that's to their advantage. We get all that. I mean, how many times do we have to hear Maggie argue with Negan, or Negan argue with Maggie? I mean, at the end of the day, this ideal, we need to move past this ideal and go into something else. Yeah, but yeah, that's my thoughts of Walking Dead Dead City episode 1. I was not happy with it. Hey, um I'm pretty sure Walking Dead fans are going to say otherwise. I don't see myself watching episode 2, because even if I finish watching the 10 minutes, that 10 minutes have to be extraordinary better than the first 40 minutes of this episode. And the odds of that happening are impossible. I don't see this getting or being any better. I just think it is what it is. And it's like, uh I felt that way for oh my God. Not the Walking Dead where they're in a foreign country. Dale, not the Dale Walking Dead, but the other Walking Dead of the couple. Their first season, it was like hit and miss on episodes. Some episodes made sense, other episodes did not make sense. And I really do feel like the real reason why myself and others are down on The Walking Dead is because there are so many Walking Dead shows. You got 3 Walking Dead shows, and I mean, how much Walking Dead, if you're a Walking Dead fan, how much Walking Dead you're going to continue to watch? You know, that's why there's talk of maybe bringing all of the original cast back and doing Walking Dead. At one point you had like 4 Walking Dead shows. You had Fear the Walking Dead, but they canceled that one. I'll be honest with you, I'll be hugely shocked if Dead Season makes another season. This could possibly be the last season of Dead City. Who knows? It might be the last season for all 3 of these episodes, and they just make them all just do one. Make them go back and do the OG Walking Dead. But maybe people are getting tired buyer's remorse of The Walking Dead. I mean, Walking Dead been on for so long, and now you got these shows coming from the OG Walking Dead, and maybe people are getting fatigued watching these shows. But yeah, that's all I got for this. Uh, I don't see myself watching episode 2. I will finish the last 10 minutes of it, but I don't think it's going to change my mind one way or the other. I just was not happy. Uh, I just was not happy with Walking Dead Dead City. And there's really nothing that's keeping me there or keeping me interested to see how this story progress, or see how this season progress, particularly when, I just watched and From had an amazing season from episode 1 to the last episode. And, like I said, I would constantly do a live stream after From to tell you guys what I thought about it. And, coming from that world, and we're going into Walking Dead world, it's just like it was like 2 or 3 steps backwards. Okay. But yeah, there are plenty other shows that are supposed to be premiering, particularly in the fall. You got on Paramount, Sylvester Stallone show. You got Mobland, and you got Jeremy Reynolds show on Paramount Plus. So you got those three plus Lawman. That you know, I think all of them shows are going to premiere at the same time. And so you got that going on. Plus you got the Lanterns on HBO Max. Um, and I'll be honest with you, I feel like I want to do more. I might review Lanterns when it does come out, and because I'm more of a comic book fan. But yeah, that's all I got. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll see you guys later. Deuces. Appreciate everyone that has been subscribing to the channel, been watching the videos or the live stream. I haven't live streamed in almost 2 or 3 weeks on this channel. But guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.